Does Jay-Z still have freeform dreadlocks, or has he turned his hair into wigs? Welcome to my channel, and if you're new here, como estas, make yourself at home, get comfortable. Before we start with today's video, here's a brief history on who Jay-Z is. Sean Corey Carter, born December 4th, 1969, known professionally as Jay-Z, is an American rapper and entrepreneur. Born and raised in New York City, he was named the greatest rapper of all time by Billboard and Vibe in 2023. He is the founder of Roc Nation Records. Prior to that, he was the CEO of Def Jam Recordings. You are about to witness a great phenomenon take place as we go through Jay-Z's locks over the years. You'll see his dreadlocks turn from looking skinny to looking like literal tree trunks. In case you're wondering what Jay-Z looked like without the dreadlocks, this is him, the iconic picture. The blueprint picture. Now, Jay-Z started his dreadlocks in 2018. Judging from this picture and the color of his skin, I can tell that he has a 4C hair texture. He didn't really start his locks with much hair. He just had a decent amount of hair on his temple. Let's say he started with about 2 inches of hair. It's not too much, it's not too little. It's just the perfect size. Ah, yes. The famous picture when he really started his dreadlocks. When people were confused as to what is happening in Jay-Z's life, wondering whether he was going through a midlife crisis. Like, what is he doing? What's going on with his hair? Why is it like that? Like, is Jay-Z okay? And somebody called Jay-Z and like check up on him. Is everything alright at home? Yeah, this is that picture. But everything was okay and he was starting his dreadlocks. That's what everyone gets when they first start their dreadlocks. A lot of people start checking in on them. Yo, are you good? Are you okay? Blah, blah, blah. Not knowing that we're going on our journey. You always still see Jay-Z in his early stages of his locks. About 1 to 2 months in, we see him rocking the headbands. It's another thing that Jay-Z likes doing, but as we progress through the pictures, you'll see how he incorporates a lot of these accessories into his hair and just looking stylish all the goddamn time. Now we see his hair, it's maturing about 3 months in. It's not fully locked, but it's getting there. With the next picture, we see his hair continuing to mature. And we also see that he's still rocking the headbands. Maybe he didn't want to let the ugly phase get the best of him, so he was using these headbands as a way to keep himself from looking like a bum. So he just had to do something, I guess. Everyone has their own ways of dealing with the beginning, early stages of growing locks. Some people wear hats all the time, covering their hair. Some people wear scarves. Some people just wear their hair out like that. Maybe this was Jay-Z's way of dealing with the early stages of the dreadlocks, just keeping all these headbands in, bandanas, just accessorizing to stay relevant and look cool. Here we really start to notice a change. We really start to notice a change with his hair. Of course, the headband's still in. At this point, it's like his daily bread. He can't step out the house without putting the headband on. It's like he needs it to survive, bro. We see his locks are looking freeform here. We start seeing a change, a difference. We start seeing that, okay, Jay-Z is growing freeform dreadlocks. We can put him in the dreadlock freeform section, not in the traditional, not in the what, but freeform. Because we can see his hair is all clumped up on the one side, and on the one side it's just, his hair is all over the show. It's just doing its thing, it's living its best life. You see that he's growing freeform, just gotten some length. Boom, here we see a significant change. However, it's not too far apart from the previous picture. The previous picture, I'd say, is about 8 months in his journey. With this picture here, I'd say that he's about a year in his journey, when we see the dreadlocks maturing, living their best life. We start to see his locks thicken up. Man, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, that ugly phase, that early stages hitting him hard, bro. The ugly phase takes no prisoners, bro. It takes no prisoners. It doesn't give a fuck whether you're rich or not, bro. Like, it just deals with all of us the same way. It takes no prisoners. You can really see that. He's really going through it, but he's making the most of it and he's carrying himself confidently. The next picture, we see his hair maturing. You see the hair thickening up. At the back, it's all clumped up, which is a sign. You don't see scalp, no scalp being seen. The clumping up as well and combining of the locks is a sign of freeform. which is beautiful. It means that if you don't see scalp, it means that your locks, your scalp, your hair is very healthy and you doing very minimal to it. And that's why it's living its best life. No traction is being caused, no pulling, no manipulation. Your hair is just in heaven. Your hair is in hair heaven. It also looks like he's holding, I don't know what it is that he's holding in his hands. It looks like he's carrying sausages around. I don't know why he'd be carrying sausages around. I guess he loves hot dogs for him to be carrying sausages everywhere he goes in a packet. It just, wow, it's crazy. Oh, my bad everyone, it's just cigars, it's not sausages. I mean, why would this man carry sausages around? He's a billionaire, for crying out loud, bro. Like, sausages, what is going on over my head? Apologies Jay-Z if you're watching this. I know you're not watching this, but if you're watching this,
man, shut your bitch ass up, nigga.
And now we see his hair has entered the big boy phase, or it's in between the big boy phase. His hair is in the teenage phase. It's in the teenage phase where you can see that, wow, his hair is hitting, his hair is locking, his hair is locked. We can see how thick his locks really are. We can see how mature they're getting, and we can see the difference in his locks compared to the past and compared to where he started with his locks being all thin and whatnot. Also, I didn't mention that the method that he may have used to start his dreadlocks is towel rub method. I don't really think that he used a sponge because his sections were very tiny. It seems like he used a towel to start his locks, because when you use a towel, your sections are very tiny. You get very tiny dreadlocks. So that's why I'm saying that he may have started with a towel wrap method and not a sponge to start his freeform dreadlocks. But yes, in this picture we see his locks have thickened up very much from the beginning. You would not say that that was him. The previous pictures were him. No, his locks are looking beautiful, healthy, no scalp showing. The afro underneath it's beautiful. In the next picture we see him and his hair continuing to grow, continuing to show itself what it is, which is freeforms, like the sections, the craziness, the crazy aesthetic of freeform is really showing itself in these pictures and this picture specifically, because we know that freeform dreadlocks aren't normal looking. They're very unique and very different. In this picture it seems like his hair has thinned out. Not that it's thinning, but it has thinned out compared to the previous picture that we saw where his hair was all thick. It seems like it has thinned out, but we see in this picture that his locks are growing into that iconic look of his that we all know, with his hair going up and back and just hanging in the air at the back. His locks went from that thickness I was talking about to looking slightly thinner. Boom, here it is, the stage that I was talking about, the iconic Jay-Z look. He was rocking this look for a solid minute. It looked cool, it looked freeform like, it looked very unique. No one else had this hairstyle. It was just, it made him stand out. It made people really notice him and like, yo, Jay-Z's hair is fire. Oh, also the backlash and the haters were also picking at him. Yo, what is he doing with his life, blah, blah, blah. You know, haters are gonna be haters, but I think this hairstyle is fire and it was really unique. I feel like I'm talking in circles here, but we see his locks have matured. His locks are getting longer and longer and longer. We can see his locks starting to touch his shoulder, or rather probably his nape. In the next picture it seems like his locks have started joining up and congoing together from what seemed to have been the skinny locks which we saw in the previous pictures. His locks are now combining together and forming even thicker locks, as we see in this picture, and his new growth is just taking over. It's just going crazy and going wild, and it's very beautiful, and he's fully expressing himself with his locks, all confident. As you can see him, he's probably in a business meeting or something like that, since he's an entrepreneur. He's wearing the suit and he's rocking the locks. He's just rapping the freeform community in a good way, showing that you can also present yourself professionally whilst still rocking the unprofessional hairstyle that is freeform dreadlocks. Big ups to Hove for doing that. Here's another picture. He's cracking a huge smile. You know, the locks are making him. Here he is in this next picture, cracking a huge smile. you can really see that his freeform locks are bringing him great joy in his life. You can see them flourishing. I mean, he has no reason to be not happy. We can see his side profile and what his locks look like from the side. From what I can see here, there's like two thick locks that seem to be combining and joining into one thicker lock. The locks have formed a sort of Y shape, or rather a V shape. This side view really shows us a lot on the progression of his locks. In this picture, we see what looks like gray hairs, which shows how old Jay-Z really is. And for him to be growing freeform dreadlocks at that age it's historic. It's beautiful to see. I don't know how many times I've said the word beautiful in this video, but it's just beautiful. In this picture, I can confidently say that he has hit the 3-year mark, which is why his hair looks very thick, very mature. You don't really see any frizz. The frizz is there, but you don't really see it. And the lower parts, the older parts of his locks are looking mature. They're not sticking out or having any frizz. The frizz is mainly on the roots of his hair and on the fro, but on the locks themselves, the locks are locked and they're looking very good, which shows that he's very far into the lock journey. 3 years is no easy feat. Now that his locks are longer, he started wearing the hats again. The thing that was preventing him from wearing all these hats in the earlier stages at 1 and 2 years in is because his locks were, you know how teenage freeforms get, like they're all crazy and it's really hard to tame them, and you can't really put anything, any type of or any form of headwear, because they're all sticking up, and putting headwear is just gonna not look good. But now that his locks have matured 3 years in, or 3.5 years in, his locks have laid down, he can finally wear his hats and express himself fully. The hats, this picture really looks good on him. The hat, why am I saying this picture looks good on him? The hat looks good on him. This is a beautiful aesthetic picture, and he's happy, he's doing good. Like, why wouldn't he be? In this next picture with his wife, we see him wearing a beanie, a black beanie. I could only wish to wear hats and beanies. Firstly, I can't wear any hats because my locks are too thick. Like, doesn't make sense, doesn't really look good, does it? So that's out of the equation. The reason that I can't wear beanies is because I'm afraid of lint. And I'm not about to go through another lint crisis. I feel like every dreadhead has been through a lint crisis where they were battling a crazy amount of lint, and I'm just not trying to go through that again. So that's why I don't be wearing hats and I don't be wearing beanies. But we can see Jay-Z is cozily wearing the hats, the beanies, and they look good on him. In this picture of him at an event, we can see that his locks somewhat look like they are getting maintained, but we can't really say that his locks are getting maintained. But we're starting to see a little scalp on the side of his head, which brings suspicion to the probability of him getting his hair maintained, because we know that if you're freeforming, you don't be showing no scalp. Another picture of the man living his best life. Like, show me a picture of Jay-Z in his lock journey where he's not smiling. And of course, he's wearing the beanie again. The beanie, like, this beanie is like, yo bro, there's something with this beanie, because he stays rocking it, but his locks are maturing, of course. They just are like, there's only so much he can say about locks when they reach a certain point. I feel like after the 3-year mark, the only difference that takes place is just length on length on length on length. Very little changes take place. It's like on a microscopic level, not really microscopic, but very minuscule changes happen past that 3-year mark. Here's another picture of him in some shades and the black hat, and we see that his locks are now, boom, I can confidently say that his locks are at the 4-year mark right here. When this picture was taken, his locks are looking good, they're looking solid, and I mean it literally. What more can I say on this picture? As I said before, very little change takes place. This is a back view of his locks, and from this picture I can confidently say that he has started maintaining his locks. Because why is all that scalp showing when you are freeform? And if you're arguing with me that no, Jay-Z is true freeform, true to the ground, blah blah, freeformer, No, he's not, because the reason I say that is, firstly, I already mentioned that he's showing scalp, which is visible signs of maintenance, and secondly, when you're growing freeforms, you always have frizzy hair at the top and the roots. There's always a good amount of fro underneath the locks, and Jay-Z has none of that, which clearly shows that maintenance is being done. In this picture, we can clearly see that Jay-Z got that shit on. Like, he got that shit on.
If I do say so myself,
And the hat. He stays wearing the hat, His locks are gaining length. That's the only thing that's happening, but we can't really see it through the different pictures that I've showed recently, but he says it's just great gaining length. But that hat though, it's like, how is he wearing hats? Because hats produce lint. It's like bro has people manufacturing lintless hats. Like, I don't know, it's like bro has people manufacturing these hats that don't produce any lint, which is like, he can just wear those hats and his locks don't have to suffer for it. I need Jay-Z's plug so I can get me some beanies. I need them beanies, bro. But first, I gotta grind my way up to affording his plug. Crazy thing is, the first thing that I noticed in this picture is not that he's with Damson Idris, but it's the fact that he changed the black hat. Bro remembered that he has all that money and he can afford to buy a new hat. Yeah, we see he has a clean fit on. White hat, of course. The locks are looking lengthier and more solid over time. In this picture, it looks like maybe they may have thinned down a bit to where they were looking quite huge before. But this is a good picture of him and Damson Idris. Shout out Snowfall, greatest series ever made. If you haven't watched that, check it out. You won't regret it. A black and white picture of Hove with his dreadlocks and a hat. I suspect this hat is black. There's an 80% chance this hat is black. But with this picture being black and white, it just makes the texture of the hair stand out, and he looks like a true Rasta in this picture. He's in the 5-year mark with some change in this picture, judging from all that length and maturity in his dreadlocks. A picture of him at a game, and he's wearing a black hat, the same pattern as the hat in the black and white picture, which I say there's an 80% chance of that hat being black. So you do the math. His fit is looking clean. Honestly, bro low-key has some good fashion sense. Low-key, he's not fashion crazy. He's not front cover Vogue type of fashion crazy, but he has subtle fashion. Bro has that style with ease, which we call steez. Boom, this picture was taken in 2024. Because I can see that this picture is from the release of the film titled The Book of Clarence. 2024, he marks 6 years in his lock journey, and we see his locks looking more unified, more not traditional, but more wig looking. Clearly, now it's like a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. His locks are being maintained and they're being like very, it's that type of money maintenance, you know, that maintenance that money can get. I'm sure bro has like the best loctician in the world, probably pays that person 100k per session, and his locks are looking good and very thick. So you tell me, judging from this picture, you tell me, do you think Jay-Z still has freeforms or does he have wigs? On this final photo of the video, my verdict is that Jay-Z indeed has wigs. Even though he started out with freeform dreadlocks, he transitioned into wigs, because you do see some people starting out with freeform dreadlocks and they transition into traditional dreadlocks by getting retwists. Jay-Z may have taken a similar path, but it was less noticeable because he already had thick freeforms to begin with, and his maintenance was obviously expensive, so it had to look good. Jay-Z has wigs. If you made it this far, we're clearly locked in, so please leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe for more log content.